can find you. There we go. Hi, Barbara. Okay, let me see if I can mark. Why can't I do this? Oh, Facebook. You're so frustrating sometimes. Nope. Okay. Hi, Penny. Blistering hot Florida. Send some of that up to us. Connie. Hi, Connie from Denmark. Wow. Thank you for joining. Oh, thanks, Barbara. I appreciate it. It is not hot here, Donna. It is kind of, the sun just came out maybe 2 hours ago, as a matter of fact. I'm looking outside. That's why I'm saying that. And it was really chilly this morning. And it's probably like 70 now, maybe. Hi, Karen. But Friday, it's supposed to be 58 for a high. Because the pool's open. Hi, Pam. Thanks for joining. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Laurie from Lake Elmo, Minnesota. That's pretty fun. That sounds like a fun place. And Mary from Florida. I guess you're melting also in Florida. Thank you, Sherry. I didn't wash. Actually, I did wash it today. I didn't dry it today, and I kind of had it down. And then I just, right before we went live, I put it back down. I had it up. So it must have done something good for it. Near 90. Man, send that 90 this way. We're supposed to have a really hot day tomorrow, and then it's supposed to be cold. So 70 is perfect. 87. I would love some 87 right now. Hi, Debbie. How are you, my fame friend? Hi, Kelly. So I just got something else in. I was going to show you. Look what just came. Peachy. And I love the scripts. That is really why I bought this stamp set. Love them. I love the cursive. It reminds me of how a friend of mine wrote in high school or middle school. It's so pretty. I love it. So I love the sentiments. This is a photopolymer stamp set. So just in case you missed it, they have the images on the back now. So you can take your stamps off. They're not printing it on this anymore. And you can match them up. Which this would make a really good butt card too. If anybody likes to send stupid humor, inappropriate humor butts. Because this peach looks like a butt to me. So they need to come out with something that's like, I love you, butt. And then you can use this as the butt. I'm so dumb sometimes, but I make myself laugh. Hi, Amy. I'm hoping we can get back and stamp sometime soon. Hi, Martha from Colorado. Thank you for joining. I also did get the coordinating dies. Look, see, somebody else is laughing at me. Somebody else gets my dumb butt humor. So, let's see what these look like. Ooh. Oh, they're nice. And they have the 3 peaches that it cuts out and the single peach and then that big leaf image. Look, it cuts it really nicely too. So that should be really fun. It's got some flowers, stem. Oh, and a cute little sentiment. Like a little, what is that? Trapezoid? I don't even know. I should know. But hi, Kay. Hi, Julie. So anyway, we're not going to use this today, but I'm going to use this with the paper. And then I'm going to show you the card I finally finished. And it's not as good as the idea I had, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. And now that I look at it, my sentiment is crooked and I have a little bit of glue on the front. But anyway, this is the theme, what we're doing today for the card. I should have brought a little bit more. So there should be maybe one more blueberry here and maybe one up. So it kind of swept a little bit. But they did use a little bit different shaped of a die. So what I used, I'm going to show you. And then I'll even tell you the person's name. So I used Berry Blessings, which was a celebration stamp set. But we do have that berry stamp set you could definitely use. And then I used one of the Painted Poppies dies. And I'm going to show you one other thing. I actually even toyed with, so I used this twice. And I'll show you what I mean, die-wise. Of course, they're on the wrong side. but I used this smaller die, and it has the double line, so it edges it, which is really nice. So that goes with this. This is the coordinating for the poppies. And I actually toyed with, and where is it? I just had it. I toyed with doing this little piece and adding this maybe somewhere to it, but it didn't really work out. I was gonna put it underneath so you can see that little piece there, but it didn't really work the way I wanted, so I might actually end up adding this to the underneath of the sentiment on the inside when I add it. But that's another overlooked little like addition in the die set. So the poppies bundle, painted poppies, and then another one, so that's this little border. It cuts off like a little border with scallops, very, very thin. So I'll show it to you one more time just in case you missed it. So you can see it's really thin. Or another one that would be a nice one too is this little floral, oh not floral, geez whiz. It's a little circle, and then it has the same thing with the scalloped, not really scalloped, but I guess it kind of is. So this is another pretty one. I don't think I've ever used either of those, and I'm pretty sure they do go with this die set. But I think it would be really nice, and I'm going to grab the other one for the other card that we're going to make today. I think it would have been nicer with In Good Taste, and I just forgot that one. You know what? Maybe what did I do? Did I put it in the wrong place? Dang it, Rachel. Oh. Ha. You know why? Because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Tasteful Touches. Anyway, the die that I think would have looked nicer with this, thanks Kathy, is this one. Because it would be a little bit, this is almost a little bit too big. It would have been just a teeny bit narrower and a little bit longer. So this is actually the die that they did this example card with. And I will tell you whose blog. Hold on, because I saved it in case you want to go look at it. Hold on one second. Oh my goodness. Okay, I will tell you after I locate it because I want just a little bit too far. So anyway, she made the card with this, with the blueberries, and then she used this die from Tasteful Touches. I think it's, oh, In Good Taste is the DSP. Jeez. Tasteful Touches. No wonder I couldn't find it. It's this die. So I think I'm going to use that when I make our second card. So again, this one I did actually, just to be 100% honest with you, I did pull out the blueberry bushel because it's blueberries and it was not blue enough, which sounds crazy. So I actually used Pacific Point for this. It made it a more vibrant blueberry and not quite so dark. So Pacific Point is the base that I used, and then just a thin layer of white. So we're going to do that. But today, so I am going to use the dies from Tasteful Touches, but the stamp set that I thought would be really pretty with this is Color and Contour. Now, I did not get the dies to go with this. I only got the stamps. And same thing for this. So photopolymer, these are actually stuck to the back here. So I just put this little piece on top. I probably won't even keep it in there. Actually, there's both pieces. So it's on there. They do have dies that match, but I really didn't think that I would use it. So I was kind of like, eh. Talking about other dies with the Tasteful Touches. That is all of these. Hold on, I'll pull it apart. This one has a lot of dies. I really, really like this die set, if that's what you're talking about, Donna. Let me put this one in there so you can see it. It has a lot of dies. So again, that goes with Tasteful Touches. And I can't remember what the dies are called. Somebody might know. Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. I have some piles of things on the floor that I'm going through because I'm trying to get rid of some stuff. So it's just a little crazy. One other thing I want to note, and I want to say this while I'm facing front because I feel like you feel like I'm being more honest with you. I'm going to have to be live whenever I am from now on, because we did end lacrosse the other day, but Christian is going to be playing on a club lacrosse team, which is just starting up. And with summer, I don't feel like I can be consistent enough that it isn't going to be like, oh, I won't be on today. Oh, I won't be on today. So I don't want to do that because I think it is rude if you tell somebody you're going to do something. I feel really bad about last Thursday that I didn't get to get on. So it'll be really, really important. And if you're watching this on YouTube on the replay, so right now I am live on Facebook. So if you see that little red, it's live. We're on Facebook now. But I do load these to YouTube after the fact. So if you are not subscribed to me via YouTube, which YouTube gives amazing notifications when you're actually live. Facebook is like 50-50, but if you subscribe to me on YouTube, you will know when I make a live video or when I post a new video. I don't tend to post videos on Facebook. I usually do it on YouTube, but I will be live when I can. Maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the morning sometimes, depending on the weather, probably spur of the moment. So thank you so much for bearing with me. I know I've changed a lot of stuff this year with the pandemic and then going back to work and everything. So it does make it a little bit harder, but I appreciate you guys always just joining here whenever I happen to be. So I will be live, but it'll just be willy-nilly. I will do, though, I'm going to try to do at least twice a week, between once here live on Facebook and once live on YouTube, and then I'll try to throw in some recorded videos as well. So they do grow up so fast. It's amazing. And I did have a lot of fun last Thursday when I went to his lacrosse practice. I actually forgot my phone, so I 100% paid attention to what was going on. It was like a wonderful little miracle. So anyway, I'm going to flip you down and we're going to get started. And let me just turn this around. So if you get a little motion sick, just look away for a minute. I'll give you a little peek at the pool out there if you can see it. Pool. Just opened the other day, and you know that little rascal got in there and it was freezing. It's like, why won't anybody get in the pool with me? Tasteful labels. Thanks, Donna. I always say I need a secretary here. So thank you for my roving secretaries. I appreciate it. Also, I believe the retirement list for the mini catalog will be coming out soon, in case you missed that. And also, in case you missed it, you remember we made this card? That's why I had this 3/4 inch punch. We punched this out and made this background. I think this is one of my favorite cards. It's so cute, so versatile, so many different things you can use it for. We can use that background over and over again. I am going to grab, while I'm here, a clean paper. So I'm going to flip this over. We'll pop that up there. If you have anything you need to shop for, I would greatly appreciate if you shop with me. I know you have lots of people that you can choose from, so thank you so much when you do shop with me. It is massively appreciated. So I'm going to bring these two out so we know what we're working with. I have my iPad set up so I can watch my comments. There we go. And all right. So we're going to start with color and contour, and I kind of am going to do the same thing. It kind of works out nicely because this also was a two-step stamp. If you still have this one, you could make this card as well. But what we're kind of doing is following like a little circle arc over here. That's the plan anyway. So I haven't done a whole lot with the new ink colors. So let's try one with Fresh Freesia and one with Polished Pink. We're not going to do it on the same card. We probably could, but we're going to do a pink and then we'll do a purple. So let's do Freesia first. Now, I'm sorry, Polished Pink first. I'm going to use the same color for this one, but what I'm actually going to do for the Freesia is use two different colors. So I'm going to use the outline image first. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm looking at one thing and saying something different. I'm going to use the fill-in image first, and then the outline image will be the darker pink. Don't mind what I'm saying. Now, this probably would be very handy if you did have, and of course, I don't know, oh, here it is. If you did have the dies, depending on, so I just want to peek at this really quickly because sometimes, like these are the times when after the fact I think, maybe I should have gotten what I was going to get, 98. And probably after the fact, I'll be like, no, maybe I do. Okay, so it doesn't really die. No, it does. It does have a flower die. You know what? This one might be something I should have went ahead and bought it because there's some other really nice examples, and it does have a great die cut. Dang it. Well, anyway, here is the stamp set. If you get the dies, which sometimes I want to tell you, it's a little bit confusing because everything isn't as clear as it used to be, because I think they're trying to show you a lot of examples, which I love, but you're not really seeing as much of the die. So here is another, a better look at what you get with that. You do get a lot of extra outline dies, kind of similar to the Stitch So Sweetly, I think it is. The scalloped rectangles, but these also have a little bit of dotting with them, so they do have some different components to it. But anyway, there are those. And then if you look just at the dies back here, what is that one called? Hold on, I'm getting there. I think the other thing is the way they put these dies in sometimes with the negatives. Yes, I was correct. So it does remind me a little bit of the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Let me move this over for a second so I don't put my page in it. But the way they show these, it sometimes makes it to me a little bit confusing. I don't know if you feel that way as well, but is it not even back here? Stitched leaves, pierced blooms. It's got a daisy, right? Man, this is a doozy back here. I don't really have anything fabulous to say, so at the moment I'm just going to keep it zipped because it is a little bit overwhelming. Anyway, if you get those, they do usually give a picture in the back. That's weird that they don't. Don't ask me. I don't know. Sometimes I can't figure things out, so I'm just going to... So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our polished pink, and we're going to kind of go up this way. I'm going to do the curve part first. I'm going to also attempt to kind of vary the way the images are so they don't look exactly the same. So just to give you an idea, this is the very first time I've ever stamped this, so let's see what it looks like. It does have some variance in it, so it is going to have some whiter spots. If you look at the stamp, you can see there's parts where it's a little smoother, parts where it has a little bit more dotty, and it does look like that on the image. It is supposed to look that way. It just may take a little bit of getting used to. So I'm going to stamp it off, and I'm just going to kind of rotate it. And, whoops. You could stamp them light. You could stamp some of them 3 times before you re-ink. Just remember, it is going to get a little bit lighter. So this would be first generation, the dark ones. These are all second generation, and then this one is third. So maybe you wanted something really light in between. You could stamp it twice, and then I have that little one in the background. So there will be that. Now, the only thing that is going to, if this is something that bothers you, is you may want to line this up a little bit, but I'm just going to kind of let it go wherever it goes. So I'm full strength inking my outline. Just kind of try to make it somewhat line up. Oops. We could probably go through if you wanted to and mark this, which I have done that before. Since this one was really, really light, I actually stamped that one off. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. Kind of go like that. Yeah, that one's not quite dark enough. There we go. So that is going to be our flower portion, okay? So as you can see, we kind of follow the same thing. Now, if I was smart enough and I did purchase that die like I wanted to, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a little scrap and I'm going to stamp. I'm just going to do one. And I'm going to stamp this on full strength. So if you're looking at this, it'll have a little spot that looks like you can line it up pretty well. I think it's right here where this little V is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close this really quickly. I'm going to do a really super fast and dirty fussy cut of this. And I'm kind of not really going with any of the specific petals. I'm just going to weave in and out. And I apologize. I'm going to do my best also to catch the comments really quickly when I do like a gluing pause or something. And I'll go back and try to catch them again. If there's anything you have a question about, you can always feel free to send me an email or a message here on Facebook. So that's going to be one. But what I want to do, just one other little extra thing, since I happen to have this here. Let's see if this is still a little bit green. All right, I'm going to save that green one. And that's a purple one. I'm going to save that one. Let's see, what do we have? That's kind of a pinkish. I'm going to just do one thing. I'm going to do a little squeezing here just to get just a teeny bit of color around the edge. I'm going to take this with my dauber and just kind of barely hit the edge. I don't want it to be too dark. Just to kind of take that harsh whiteness. And then another thing you could do if you wanted to, and I thought I had, oh, this one's really dark. Yeah, that's super dark. Let me grab one more dauber. And this will be my yellow one. And just for this one, because this one is fussy cut and it's out, I'm going to take a little bit of my Bumblebee, just a teeny bit, and just do just a smidge in the center. It's so light you can barely see it, but you can see it when you look in person. So I'm going to keep this one in case I want to do that with any other of the images. So this is going to be here. Somehow we're going to pop this up. Let's figure out what die we're going to use. I want to use that same one. So I think I'm going to use the You're Absolutely Amazing. And we can make this kind of a green. So same thing again, you do have these little flourishes of leaf here. We can do those. We're probably going to cut maybe one out, but I'm going to stick with the green, and I think I want something that's really vivid. So I'm going to go with Shaded Spruce, and I'm going to make my sentiment be the same color as the leaves, even though there won't be too many leaves. Just stamp that once since I've never stamped it. This is another one I loved the font for. That's really why I bought this. Had some beautiful greetings. So Simply Amazing, or whatever it is it says, Absolutely Amazing. And then I'm going to take this little leaf image here, and I'm going to stamp 2 of them. Let's just go with 3, just for the heck of it. So I have 3. And I have a little pool of ink here already. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my blender pen. And again, this is just the second idea for this. So I've not really kind of thought this out. I'm just kind of filling in the color just a little bit. You're also going to bleed a little bit of the ink from the ink we're pulling on the side here as well. So you can always just do that if you don't want to dip into your pad like I did, but just kind of depends on what you want to do. I'm going to fill this in, and just like so. You could, if you wanted to, also do this with your Wink of Stella pen, because then you'll add shimmer as you blend. I'm not even going to do this little outlier thing over here. And then when you're done with your blender pen every time, just make sure you wipe it until it's clean. So take that, and I'm going to just snip these super duper quick. Let's see. It's so weird. Facebook is so random because I can see it popping up, but it's just continually telling me so-and-so is watching. So if you have a question while I'm cutting, I can kind of glance down a little bit. I'm not going to cut these super tight just because I don't want to make it too long while I do this. And these will just be to kind of tuck in. Now, you do also have a brand new 5-pack of the Baker's Twines. I think that's what they are, the Baker's Twines. I don't think they're linen threads, but they're different colors. So you could use those if you wanted to. If you happen to have some old linen thread, you could use that as well. That definitely worked also. And you could, if you wanted to, even take some of these flowers that we stamped and cut half of them. So you could stamp a whole one and then cut it in half and put half on each side. That's another option, depending on what you want to do. Now, if you have the die, obviously you don't really have to worry about that as much. And then I had a green, so I want to go just a little bit lighter. So I'm actually going to just go to Garden Green. Oops. Here's once again is my pad I need to buy another one of, but keep forgetting. I'm just going to ink this just a little bit and just get the edges, just so it's not too white. So I'm kind of just wanting to eliminate a little bit of that harsh edge because I didn't do my absolute best cutting, so you guys don't have to wait. So I'm just taking this and just kind of pouncing all over, just adding in a little bit of green to take down some of that bright white hue. And this one I'm going to just snip a little bit. Okay, and that one looks pretty good. Oh, let me get this a little bit. Okay, let me close this with hopefully not making a calamity. All right, so the only other thing I have to do is to die cut this, and I said I was going to use that one die, so I have that one here, and I think I'm going to use the background color. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make our base for this one polished pink. So it's going to be polished pink except for the green that's on there. That's the only other thing. So I'm going to take my polished pink, and I have oh, this one's going to fit perfectly. I just need a piece for my card. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half really quickly. Score, so it's 4 1/4. This will be a lengthwise by 5 1/2. So there's that. I'm going to, while I have this out, because I didn't check this ahead of time, I want to make sure this measures 4 by 5 1/4. Nope, so I'm going to trim a little bit off, and I'll trim this part off here, off the top, make it a little easier. And all we have to do is die cut. So I am going to have to run this through twice because I want to do this sentiment and then a layering piece, okay? So this is going to go through the Big Shot 2 times. How is anyone having a lot of cicadas? Because our neighborhood is, since we have lived here for 8 years, I believe it is 8 years, we don't really have that many. We don't have many more than we have during any other summer. However, across the street, one of my neighbors, they have them, so they are completely covering the fence and everything. But we are just, I think because also we had such cool weather, I think we're just coming into them coming out now. So do any of you have cicadas? Do you like them? Can you not stand them? Personally, I don't really mind them. They're not very attractive, but I know some people don't like bugs. All right, so we have all of our pieces and parts that we're going to put together. Let me just throw these couple scraps away. And I'm going to show you, this is the pack I was talking about. It's the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So you have all different colors. So there's crumb cake, Sahara sand, there is a light, I think this is gray granite, there's white, and there's black. So this is a great pack to use. Now I'm going to grab this just because I'm being lazy, so I apologize. This is a super duper old linen thread. This is actually natural linen thread, so it's really, really old, but you get the drift of what you want to do. Now I want to tell you one other thing. The person that made this made the most incredible bow, and I'm going to show you. I don't know if this is what they did or not, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. And this is kind of the only way I could think that you possibly could do this. So you tie your bow. Actually, you know what? I think it needs to be 2 because it was a little bit thicker. It wasn't quite as thick as Baker's Twine, but it was a little bit thicker. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. You'll totally understand what I'm getting at here. So you have that little bow. Let me just snip this little doodad here. Okay, we have that. I'm going to make this just a little bit tinier. And I still can't quite figure out exactly what they did for this, but it's really cool. So I'm going to show you what I think it is. So you have your bow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mini glue dot. And this isn't really important, but it was really so nice when it kind of wrapped up the card that I just thought we'll take a minute to show you. So I have a little mini glue dot there. What I'm going to do, oops, apparently I grabbed two of them. Let me put this one back. See if we can, nope, that one's stuck on me. Well, I'll hold on to this in case I need it. So I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to start back here where this little glue dot is. I might actually be able to use the other one now that I think about it. And they just wrapped. And I don't know what the best way is to do this, but the inside of this, you're probably going to have to keep like pressing to kind of keep it in line, was really, really, really wide and fat. And it looked super country is the best way I can think to describe it. I know that sounds kind of like a weird way to describe something, so I'm going to wrap it there and put, oops, snip. Okay, so do you see how big and wide that knot is? I don't know if you can see that or not, if my hands are showing it or not showing it. It looked really cool. I'm going to put that extra glue dot that I happened to pull off back there just to bring the closed end around so it stays looped up. But it was like a super wide wrap in the middle. It looked really cute. So I'm going to take this for a moment and just sit this onto my silicone mat. That way I have it and I know where it is, and we'll put everything else together in the meantime. And now I'm going to grab, I'll go ahead and fold this in half. And so we have our card bottom here. So I'm going to take, and I usually use this just to put the ribbon on. I'm going to take a little bit of whatever, the Stampin' Seal Plus. I don't like the regular Stampin' Seal. I only like the Plus. So I'm going to take that, and I'm actually going to do this different because on this one, I just tied it, but I'm going to put my little faux bow there. So I'm going to use a little bit more. So I'm going to start here. And this is why if you have a lot of old, not old, but older string or ribbon or twine, this is a great way to use it. So I'm actually going to wind this a couple different times. I think I'm going to go around like 4 times. Let's see. That looks good. I'm going to do one more. Okay, you don't want to bend it because you don't want to bow your card. So you want to make sure that it's flat. And then this one is pressed down here pretty well. So I'm just going to snip this. I'm just going to press and make sure everything's stuck in the back. That looks good. This we're going to layer together. So it's kind of like a, what would you say? Like a silhouette, a shadow, something or other like that. You could do it this way. You could do it that way. Kind of whatever way you want. How about for this one, we'll do it above instead of below, just to do something different. I am going to do it with liquid glue though. That way in case I want to adjust it, I can. So I'm going to put this, I put liquid glue on the back, and then we're going to press this kind of like that. Okay, just like so. So then we have our little flower or leaves that we can kind of stick in anywhere behind. And I think I'm going to put this maybe up here. And then we're going to have to just decide where we want our bow. So this might be a little too big. I might end up putting behind. Maybe this I'm going to cut in half. So I'm going to go with that whole thing I said earlier. So I'm going to kind of try to cut in half on one of the lines. That way we can hide part of it behind. So maybe like a little bit of this behind. We can use a little bit of this leaf to kind of add here. I don't know if we want it behind, in front. I might trim this off just a smidge. Just a little bit. I'm kind of just going to the flow of the flower. Let me look at this side too. This one actually did pretty well on. I'm going to put some dimensionals here. This is a pretty wide piece, so I'm going to use 4. Okay, I think I want my little faux bow over here somewhere, but let's just take a peek. And I'm going to put this onto the base after the fact. Not really sure if I love the way that is. Maybe it needs to go a different way. And you know what else I'm going to do really quickly? What did I do with my yellow? I have my yellow here just because this kind of sticks out a little bit. I'm not going to ink it at all. I'm just using sheerly what is left over. And just putting a little teeny bit. It is not much at all. I'm going to do this one just a smidge. And you can see there's barely any ink on there anyway. Just since I did that little one on the cutout. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to use some mini glue dots again. I'm just going to put one here on the end of that leaf. Tuck it in between. I don't want this to stick out too much. Maybe I'm going to put it here. I'm actually think I'm just going to glue dot this one on flat because I think almost maybe the added layers bringing it up are just a little bit too much. So I'm going to put one like right here. So you do have that dimension of it down there. Put this one in the back. This one here, and you could change it. I mean, you could make all of them completely different. You could even omit this extra little fussy cutting if you didn't want to do it. I think I'm going to put one more. Right like that. Okay, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put one more on the back of this because I want to make sure that it sticks. So I'm just going to take my bow that I made and just kind of grabbing that ribbon together and putting it right there. So you could put that behind it, you could put it in front of it, just kind of depends on what you want to do. So there is that part. That's pretty much it. Let me move this. And we do have to adhere this. So I am going to use liquid glue for this, okay? Just because I tend to like liquid glue better. I know this might feel like it's a little bit of bulk, but honestly, this is a very thin thread, so it's really not very much bulk at all. You could certainly put dimensionals if you wanted to do it that way instead. And just make sure this is nicely creased. Okay. And oops. I like the liquid glue too, because if you feel like you need to move it, you kind of have a minute to adjust it. There. So aside from those little bits of fussy cutting, really, there was not a lot to that card. I like the curve of this one a little better. I probably went over, whereas this one is under. So maybe just like a little bit of in between for the next one. Okay, so we'll do the fresh freesia for the other one. Let me just clean these stamps off really quickly, and then we'll do fresh freesia. Now for fresh freesia, since it is typically a little bit of a lighter purple, I think I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape as my second stamping color. So I'm just going to pop this away. You could also use Soft Succulent would be really nice as a complementary color instead of the Shaded Spruce. So maybe we'll do that for the second one. So there's that one. And here's just a little close-up of that little extra wrapped bow. I thought it was really cute. I mean, it's probably really nothing to it, but I liked it. Okay, so seeing where this is, I'm going to kind of use this as my eyeball. I'm going to go down a little bit farther. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's really pretty. This would look really nice too, even if you wanted to do it, and as crazy as this may sound, with light gray. And then you could use yellow, like a daffodil delight would be really nice for the inside. I'm going to see if I can have enough here for one more. That would be really, really pretty for like just a really pretty simple daisy. All right, so Gorgeous Grape is definitely darker than this. If you wanted to go really dark, you could either go with Rich Razzleberry or Blackberry Bliss, although Rich Razzleberry isn't really one of my favorite colors, so I guess it kind of depends. Ooh, this looks super pretty. And just ink that one there since it's a little bit lighter. Okay, and let me just do this one. See if I can kind of line it up somewhat. All right, so there is that. I think those colors look really, really nice together. And I'm just gonna do my best to quickly fussy cut this. I do like fussy cutting. Fussy cutting is probably right up there for me with heat embossing, because it's, first of all, heat embossing is amazing because you get such a wow for it. But fussy cutting for me is just very cathartic and completely mindless, and I like doing those kind of things. I've always liked cutting things, cutting papers and that kind of stuff anyway. So I'm going to do I'm going to change from this. So I'm not going to use Shaded Spruce. We'll just do this as a totally different color scheme. I'm going to do Evening Evergreen, and then we'll fill that in with Soft Succulent. All right, let me be a big girl and actually clean off this stamp. Okay. Once in a while. I'm going to just do there's that, and Soft Succulent. I'm going to give this a squeeze. I'm just going to cut this. Oops, not cut. I'm going to color this. Same thing. I had a blend. Oh, here it is. My blender pen. So I'm just going to make sure it's clean. Just dipping in the Soft Succulent. Very watercolory because it's not really colored all the way in at all. I'm skipping a lot for time's sake, but also just because it's not really meant to be a fully colored in stamp, which I think kind of makes it really pretty. Okay, there's that. Oh, you know what I forgot? My sentiment. So I have 1, 2, and I think this would be also really nice thinking of you card. So definitely lots of options for what we could do with this. I think I am going to still add a little bit of yellow into that because I think it'll be a nice offset. Amazing is going to be great, but let me see if this is actually going to fit here for you now. Where is my, let's see. Yep, so that's my die cut. I'm going to use this for my sentiment instead. And I'm also going to grab my, gosh, which one do I want to use? So I used Tone on Tone. I wonder if we should do something different. We're going to have to have a contest and see which one we like better. So hold on, let me see. If we want to do it in the freesia or if we want to move to one of the greens. I need one more little scrap piece. Perfect. This should fit. Let me make sure this is big enough. Yep. I'm just going to have to stamp it in the middle. And I am going to go with the dark just because I want it to stand out. And I know I'm going to stamp this upside down, but I'm just going to kind of center it. Let me stamp it once since I haven't used it. Oh, this one's even better. Hold on. Beautiful. All right, so there's that. We got that sentiment. I'll put this on the side for a minute. I'll clean that up in a second. So we're going to cut this, and I think I'm going to do two different layers, and we'll see which one we like better. All right, so I have this. I need purple. Let me just fussy cut these super quick. And these I'm not going to do the sponging with because they are so light to dark. I'm going to leave these plain. Also, that way it'll give you another idea of if you don't want to color it in with the sponge, what it will look like. That way you kind of have two ideas. And when I do go through and post this blog, which probably won't be this evening because we're going to have to do dinner after this, I will make sure that I link to the person's card, or I'll put the blog, the name of the blog of the card that I got this idea from, because it really was a pretty card. She actually had a couple other cards that were really, really pretty that went with the blueberry. Obviously, you know, this was a while ago because Celebration has coming on. But if you have a huge wish list, speaking of, you could totally use by the end of the month, because that's when it ends. You could do a join for $155 worth of product. You only pay $99, no shipping, which is pretty amazing. You just cut this piece. This will be our background. So we are going again with the, oh my goodness, I forgot the name, Fresh Freesia. So if you have a lot of stuff you want to get, that is one of the best ways to fill up your stamping stash. You can pick anything you want, which is even better, I think anyway, because it's not like you have a kit where they're like, this is what you get. Because I think that's how it used to be. Not when I joined, but it used to be that you got whatever it was that you got, and that was the end of the story. But now you get to pick your own stuff. It ships for free. Okay, so I have my little bit of yellow, and I'm going to do these before I adhere it so I don't miss any. Just a teeny bit. It's not a lot. It's just barely like a contrast. Okay, so you can see. It's really pretty. It does give a nice contrast, though. So again, that was Bumblebee that I used. Daffodil Delight, I think, would be equally as pretty. All right, so the only thing I have to do, have this, and I have this, and I have my leaves, 1, 2. I seem to have lost one somewhere along the way. I'm going to die cut this. And where in the world is my die? Here it is. And I won't do the big wrapped ribbon. I'll just do a simple ribbon on this one. So I'm going to die cut this and my sentiment. And I'm also going to do one in the freesia. And you guys tell me which one you like better. We'll do a little viewer's choice for the second part of that. And this one, we're gonna finish the inside. And the nice part is, since this is such a light colored cardstock, you technically don't even need to add a white layer to it. So we're not going to. We're gonna skip that. I just want to do one more in this one, and we'll see which one looks best. So we're going to add our sentiment, and we're going to add a stamped image to the inside, but I'm just going to do it directly to the base. So this will be a really simple card because you're not even adding a whole nother layer to it. So these colors look really pretty together too, by the way, in case you haven't used them. Okay, so before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to do this just quickly because this one says here for you now, and I'm going to put an in better days ahead. And I'm going to do that in Gorgeous Grape because I do like the Fresh Freesia, but it's a little bit light, and I want this to be a little bit more of a powerful punch on the inside of this card. So I'm just going to stamp this since I've never used it. Okay. Missed a little bit of the S there. And it's a teeny bit crooked, and I got a little smudge there, but that's okay. And now I'm going to go back to my Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to ink this. This is that inside image, stamp it off. I'm just going to put this here, and then I'm going to do one more with the lined image, full strength. It's not going to be too much darker. Okay, so just a little something on the inside. Not super duper fancy. I'm just going to set this on the side. Let me put this away so I have less things out to potentially knock down. All right. So here is my thing. So we have our dark words. Again, these were evening evergreen. So we can either go lighter with soft succulent. Let me just kind of set this up for you here. Don't forget, we're going to wrap the twine. We can do that. I kind of think I'm going to like the freesia better though, because it'll be a nicer contrast between the dark green. And then, and I should give you this whole thing. Let's do this because I'm going to have to trim this down. So it's going to be like that. I don't know. Let me trim this down in the meantime. That's the one other thing I forgot. And I'm going to check and see what you all have to say. So put a white piece for the inside. I could, but you know what? I was being lazy. I did a Rachel. I didn't do that. I'm on a time crunch, Donna. I'm just kidding. I do feel like sometimes when I have really light stuff, I hate almost to use a piece of white because then, you know, it's like you're saving a piece of cardstock. Is that terrible? I don't know. That's just kind of the way I think sometimes. All right, where is, hold on, it fell out. Let me grab this. I'm going to put some of my Fast Fuse Plus or whatever it is. Fast and Fuse. I don't even know. Fuse something or other plus. So I'm going to do wrapping. I'm going to wrap around, same as I did before. Wrapping. Oh, you know what I forgot? I didn't do same as I did before because I wanted to leave a piece enough for me to tie. So I'm going to leave this a little bit longer. Go a little bit more, just in case. Okay, so this piece is going to be for my bow part. So I'm just going to wrap. I'm trying not to pull, that way it doesn't curve the card. Lord, you know this is some old linen thread when it is on a piece of cardboard. All right, so that looks good. So let's do here. Looks about right. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to kind of gather it together. You can see I'm kind of trying to pull them together. I'm actually going to put this one underneath too. So it kind of webs them together. Just going to press this onto my, what you call it, for a minute here. Take my bow. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to snip both of these so they're equally pretty short. So there is my other little ribbon. Okay, so there's that part. All right, and just for sake of making this easier when we put this together so you guys can see what we're doing before we add that next. Put this down. Okay. All right, so we have either this one. I'm going to go the other way this time. This one. And then we'll put our little flower. We can pop this out somewhere else. We have our couple little leaf images as well. Or this. Which one do you guys like? I'm watching. Let's see if it will let me look at the comments here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Like the green behind. The leaf went out with your scraps. Ow! Thanks, Rhonda. You're probably right. Hi, Glenda. Not sure if you just joined in recently. Oh, Lord. I like the freesia the best. Okay. Freesia. Good enough. Freesia it is. I'm going to go underneath this time so you have opposites. So again, just a little bit of liquid glue. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. And I'm going to kind of shadow it to the bottom. I don't want it to be too huge. So just like so. Okay. Let's see, 1, 2. Put some dimensionals back here. I'm going to stick with the same thing with 4. So kind of like top, side, bottom. By the way, Glenda, your order came in, so I will drive that by as soon as I have some free time. I think I'm going to put this whole one but I'm going to do the same thing where I glued it kind of behind. I just like don't want to cover it up too much. That looks good. I think I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to glue this one down. And I'm going to put one of these behind, just a little bit of glue, just so it sticks out slightly. Luckily, glue does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the other one I'm going to stick underneath. There we go. Come on, glue. Okay. Now I'm going to have to go dig through the trash to find that other one, Rhonda. Because I like things in threes, and something on here needed to be a 3. And that was going to be my 3. There we go. So got Here For You Now and In Better Days Ahead for that one. And let me move this over. I'm going to save this. I'll just put this in with my other, with the die. That way I have it there. And then my other one, this was the kind of image. Again, I wish this was up a little bit more, you know, when you glue things, and hindsight is 20/20. So put this over here just in case anybody needs it. And then here is my polished pink. So look at my trash. If I even were to have to look through here, I probably would never find it anyway, but I'm kind of a little sad I threw that one out that I cut. Oh, look at that. Found it. Found it. I think I'm going to put this one back just a little bit. So I'm just going to do a little extra fussy cutting. In case you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you have a question or a comment, pop it on there now, and I will go through and answer these really quickly before we disconnect. If this is your first time watching, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Sometimes I could be a little bit silly, and I kind of do things on the fly, so you kind of never know what you're going to get around here, but usually it is at least mildly entertaining. At least I hope you think so. I think it is. I'm always trying to amuse people. That is my goal in life. So let me just say, way to go, Rhonda. Rhonda saved the day. Keep freezing for you. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. There's nobody here on the internet except for me. So I don't know. Sometimes I know things are a little bit weird. Depending. Again, I did use Pacific Point for this one. Okay. Just in case you missed it. And this one was done with that Celebration one. I don't have that other strawberry set, but I need to get it. I need to get it and then redo something different with that, which is really, really cute. I'm always entertaining and fun. Thank you, Pam. I do strive to be entertaining, if nothing else. Absolutely entertaining. Hallelujah. At least I made somebody happy today. That's great. Watching while you're cooking dinner. Now you're making me hungry. You like the freesia the best? Thanks, Kathy. I really like that color, too. I think it's a nice color. I think it is. And another thing, you know what I'm going to show you? Just as a comparison, in case you hadn't noticed, for the Purple Posy, it's so much nicer, because Purple Posy was like almost like invisible purple. So definitely not. And it's more of a pink, and this was more of like a blue. So I really like this color. I think it's a really nice color. It goes really good with the grape, which is another plus, and it goes really well with the heather too. So that, you could probably also do this more so with like a pinkish layer if you wanted to. And I think it'll really go nicely with a lot of greens. As a matter of fact, I think that's a really nice color combo with the freesia. I think this also goes really well with the pink. You could probably even do like these. Like those three would be really nice together as well. So lots of different color combinations that you can use for pretty much anything. So I'm going to go back one more time and just make sure I didn't miss anything there. Posy was so washed out, Cindy. You're totally accurate. That is a very good description. It was so washed out. It was almost like you stamped something, but you couldn't really tell if you did or didn't stamp it. So, oh, I'm sorry I'm freezing. Maybe the internet people don't like me today. Someone's messing with my internet so nobody can watch me, which makes me sad. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Again, if you have any questions after the fact, you can always email me. I can check my email pretty easily throughout the day. So email me. Facebook sometimes is a little bit slow to send me a message. You can always send comments. I do try my very best to answer all the comments, but they kind of put you on a limit on how many you can answer in a day, which sometimes then I forget to go back and answer other ones. So if you're asking me something and I'm not answering, send me an email. Rachthestamper@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer it. I usually answer those within 24 hours, kind of tops really, because those are the ones that I do check very frequently. I hope wherever you are that the sun is shining, and if not, maybe the sun will come out tomorrow, like Annie said. It's also one of my favorite movies. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you again. If what I'm going to try to do is, because I don't really know what my set schedule is, if I know that day I'm going to go live, like some point, like I'm like, okay, I'm going to go live on Monday, I'm going to post it that morning. And then I will try to put on about a half an hour reminder to say, like, I'm going to be live at such and such time. And I'll say it'll either be on Facebook or YouTube. So hopefully that'll be helpful as well. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I look forward to stamping with you again. If you haven't got your stamps out, why don't you get them out and send somebody a card? I bet they'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.